Welcome to the vibrant world of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, where creativity meets adventure in a unique blend of platforming and vehicle construction. In this project, I will not only explain the game and characters, but also explain topics from class, such as nostalgia, the grind, the Bartle test, loot collection, and immersion. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts invites players to explore different landscapes, such as Nutty Acres, Banjo Land, Logbox 720, and more. Previous Banjo-Kazooie games only allowed players to jump and roll, but Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts offers custom-built vehicles, adding another dimension to the game. Players play as Banjo, a honey bear, who is the protagonist of the game. He's a very polite character who just wants to live a quiet life on Spiral Mountain, laying around and eating pizza. A character trait that is specific to this game is that he's considered stupid by both his friends and enemies. No matter the case, he's always willing to help anybody and everybody if needed. Kazooie is Banjo's sidekick that stays in his backpack. Her job is to attack enemies with her magic wrench that was gifted to her by Log. Her magic wrench gives her the power to make objects levitate, to attack, and to wake Banjo up when he passes out. She often has an attitude with other characters, but is mainly there to protect Banjo. Mumbo Jumbo is the mechanic in the game. When the player wants to make a new vehicle to use, they must go to Mumbo's Motors. His garage is where all of their vehicle parts are stored that they find around the world. Players can find Mumbo's Motors in Showdown Town, which acts like the main hub for the game. Humbawamba and Mumbo Jumbo work hand in hand. Humba sells the players blueprints showing how to build more advanced vehicles that will benefit the players in certain challenges. Players can also find Humbawamba in Showdown Town. Gruntilda Winky Bunyan is the antagonist of the game. Her main goal is to defeat Banjo and Kazooie and take Spiral Mountain as her own. There's a battle with Gruntilda in each level of the game, but their final battle takes place at Spiral Mountain, Banjo and Kazooie's home. Log, also known as Lord of Games, is the coordinator for the whole game. He is the one that brings Banjo and Kazooie to his world to play his challenges. Log created the whole world that the players play in. Jinjos come in 5 colors and control the side quests or mini-games in the game. They're hidden in every world. There are a handful of different mini-games that are rotated through. These are all timed, and in order to get the achievement, you must complete them in a specific time. When you beat a Jinjo minigame, you get a Jinjo token, which is used to play bingo in another part of the game. Other notable characters consist of Bottles, who is Banjo's sister's best friend in past games. He works as a tour guide in Showdown Town. Captain Blubber was the captain of his ship, the Salty Hippo, in past games, but sells Banjo secret codes in this game. Jolly Dodger sells Banjo black market jiggies, which can be found only at night. Klungo was Gruntilda's sidekick in previous games, but now he owns an arcade where the players can go and play other minigames. Lastly, Trophy Thomas is a character that sets records for the different challenges that Banjo and Kazooie have to compete in. If you beat his time, you will get a Jiggy from his vending machine. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts takes place 8 years after Banjo-Tooie. Banjo and Kazooie have been loving their relaxing time on Spiral Mountain, where they eat all of the pizza that they want. They love their farm and home, even though it is quite run down. Gruntilda appears one day with plans to turn Spiral Mountain into an urbanized area with malls and buildings. This starts a conflict between Banjo, Kazooie, and Gruntilda. It is then that Log shows up and creates worlds and challenges in order to settle this conflict once and for all. Whoever wins the challenges will get to stay on Spiral Mountain, while the loser will work for Log. Banjo and Kazooie go along competing challenges, while Gruntilda and her Gruntbots try and pester and stop them constantly. In each world, all of Banjo and Kazooie's friends play a different character and host different challenges. If the player completes these challenges, they get Jiggies, which will give them access to more worlds. Nostalgia is longing for or thinking fondly of a past time or condition. Whenever I pick up my Xbox 360 controller to replay this game, it always takes me back to when I was 5 years old and watching my dad play. I would always wait until he was done playing for the day, and then I would mess around in the fun worlds and do nothing of substance. As I got older, I would try and play the game by myself. Every single time that I would get stuck, I would ask my dad to do the challenge for me. He would always respond with, "I've already beat the game." Every time I play Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, it brings me back to such a happy time in my life. I connect back to that happy feeling every time I play the game, and it's almost therapeutic. I would also like to touch on the endowment effect, which is the fact that people tend to place more value on an object simply because it's theirs. A quick Google search showed me that you can get Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts for the Xbox 360 for a measly $5. Isn't it strange that I wouldn't trade my game for $100? My game has too much sentimental value to me, to the point where I would not trade it for the world. My disc has also been through the ringer, to the point where there's a glitch in the opening screen of the game, but that small detail makes it mine. The grind is the process of engaging in repetitive tasks. Banjo-Kazooie consists of many repetitive tasks, such as collecting music notes, finding Mumbo motor crates, completing challenges, and completing Jinjo races. Since Jinjo races do not affect your progress in the game, I usually save them for last because they are infuriating. Doing all of them back to back makes me fall into a headspace where I'm not even aware of how much time has passed. There were nights where I would play the game and think only an hour had passed, when in reality 5 had passed. The Bartle test is a test designed by Richard Bartle. When I took the Bartle test, my results showed that I'm mostly an explorer. This means I'm interested in getting to know the game inside out and exploring the map. I can confirm this is exactly how I play Banjo-Kazooie. I make sure that I see every nook and cranny of every world before I move on to the next one. Throughout exploring the Banjo-Kazooie map, I found a handful of errors in the game where I was able to get into areas I haven't unlocked yet, or accidentally got stuck where I could not get out and had to start a new save. The Bartle test also showed that I'm an achiever. Achievers like to get all of the achievements that the game has to offer and completely finish the game. I have completely finished Banjo-Kazooie multiple times now. You're able to finish the game without doing all of the side missions and collecting all of the jiggies, but that always made me feel like I was not getting all that I should have been getting out of the game. Completing the game 100% gives me a sense of accomplishment. Loot collection is the gathering of items picked up by the player that gives them some type of advantage. In this game, players can find various types of loot scattered through the different worlds. These include musical notes, which can be collected and used as currency to buy things such as blueprints and car parts. Jiggies are another type of loot that players must collect to unlock new challenges and advance in the game. Jinjo chips can be acquired by completing Jinjo challenges. They're used to play Jinjo Bingo at the Jinjo Bingo Palace in Showdown Town. Lastly, players can also collect vehicle parts to customize and upgrade their vehicles, allowing them to compete in challenges and explore the game world more efficiently. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is the most hated game of all of the Banjo-Kazooie games due to the vehicle construction aspect. Hopefully you walk away from this presentation with a different perspective of what I call my favorite game.